Hello and welcome. I'm Mary Fitch, Executive Vice President of the Washington Architectural Foundation, and we're so excited to present Architects Read. This program, like many of our other programs for children, is supported in part by the DC Commission on the Arts and Humanities and the Hattie M. Strong Foundation. If you'd like to learn more about our programs for children and adults, please visit our website at aiadc.com.
Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of Architects Read. For those who I'm meeting for the first time, my name is Ian Walker, and I'm an emerging architect here in our nation's capital. Just wanted to share a couple quick facts about me. First and foremost, I was born in Phoenix, Arizona, and moved here to Washington, D.C. to go to college to learn how to become an architect. The second thing you should know about me is that I have a mini horse. Well, she's really just a dog, a really big dog, but all my friends think she's a horse. Her name is Harley. And last but certainly not least, the thing you guys should know about me is that I have a school bus. But the school bus is not just any regular school bus. It's one of my first projects as an architect. Now, you might be thinking, do architects drive school buses? Well, no. As important as school bus drivers are, architects do not drive school buses. But what they can do is convert a school bus into a tiny house. Take a look at these images here so you can see the transformation from before and after of me and my school bus. We can talk more about that project later, but I just wanted to give you a sneak peek as to where I'm reading this book from. Now, kids, it's important to note, not all architects work on converting school buses into tiny houses. Some architects design dream homes for families, some architects design schools that we learn in, and some architects design skyscrapers that go beyond the sky. One important thing all architects have in common is a civic duty to our community. It's important we leave a building behind that's not only aesthetically pleasing, but more importantly is safe, sound, and is built to last for the future. As we flip through the pages of this book, I want you to think about some of your favorite architectural elements or even buildings that you've been in. Think about what was it about that building that stuck out to you. Was it its windows, doors? Was it the light coming through? Think about the way it made you feel. Architecture has a powerful impact, and it's one of my favorite things about designing buildings, is that feeling, that moment when you walk in. All right, now that you guys have heard a little bit about me and the things I'm interested in, let's jump into this book. This week we'll be reading a book called Look at That Building, a first book of structures. This book was written by Scot Ritchie. He dedicated this book to his father, who he claims was one of the greatest architects of Canada. Maybe one day when you guys grow up and you decide to be architects, you can write a children's book about it as well and dedicate it to your family. I think that would be pretty cool. Buildings all around us. You've probably noticed that your house has floors, walls, and windows. But did you know it might have a foundation, a frame, and beams too? Let's go for a walk with our 5 friends to find out about how buildings are put together. A building is a structure, something that is made of different parts. Buildings are all around us and have lots of different uses. Home plans. Sally's dad has built her a treehouse. Her friends have come over to see it. What a great little building! Everybody's having fun except Max. He can't climb up to join them. People build everywhere, on the water, on top of cliffs, in trees, and even underground. Firm foundation. Yuli thinks that such a deep hole must have taken a lot of digging. Martin is watching the construction workers pour concrete. This foundation is going to be very strong. A foundation is the lowest part of a building. It keeps the rest of the building stable by anchoring it securely in the ground. Did you know the taller a building is, the deeper and larger its foundation has to be. Some skyscrapers' foundation go 4 floors underground. A place to stand. Next stop, the library. Pedro is making sure the floor is solid enough to hold all these books. A floor is the surface we stand on in a building. Floors are made of a very durable material so that they last a long time. Floors can be made from many different materials, including wood, stone, dirt, and concrete. Look up! As they leave the library, Nick notices the beams above his head. They are wide and very long. How many beams can you see? A beam is usually a long, thick piece of wood, stone, or metal. It is very rigid so that it can support floors, ceilings, and other building parts. You can't always see the beams, but most structures have them. The first beams were probably made from tree trunks. Nature's buildings. Some animals build their own homes. Too bad Max can't build his own doghouse. Yuli decides they will just have to do a great job for him. To make their nests, wasps chew tiny bits of wood into a pulp. Then they spit out the pulp and pat it into place with their feet. When it hardens, they have a waterproof home. Most birds make nests too. They use twigs, leaves, and sometimes even spider webs. They weave the materials together to make a place to raise their young. What other animal homes can you see? Up the wall. Yuli looks in a window at her school. She read at the library that walls do more than just hold up the blackboard. Walls do many important things. They divide a building into rooms and keep the outside, outside. They also keep the roof up. Ancient castle walls were made of stone. They could be 6 meters or 20 feet thick. Frame it! Pedro looks up at the skyscrapers. He can see right through one of them because it is just being built. Pedro is looking at the building's frame. Frames can be made of wood, steel, or concrete. A frame gives the structure shape and support. Other parts, like beams and walls, are built on top of the frame. A frame is sort of like our skeleton. Without it, there would be nothing holding us up from the inside. Super shapes. Sally's been to the city hall before. She remembers the dome. Look how big it is. 3 shapes are used in a lot of buildings because they are so strong. An arch is a structure that is curved at the top. The arch shape helps spread weight around. A dome is also curved at the top and helps spread the weight of a structure. It can cover a large space with few supports. A triangle is the strongest shape. Lots of weight can be added to a triangle and it won't change its shape. Cool columns. The columns of this bus shelter remind Yuli of trees. They remind Nick of the columns on his porch at home. Columns are used to hold up parts of a structure, such as the roof. Because they support so much weight, they have to be made of sturdy materials. Columns are like beams, except one is vertical and the other is horizontal. They both provide support. Indoor-outdoor. Sally loves to look in through the big windowed door at the fire station. The door lets light in and lets fire trucks out, in a hurry. Most buildings have doors and windows. Doors allow people and pets to come and go. Windows allow light, or sometimes a nice breeze, to come in. Not all doors and windows are in the wall. Sometimes they are in the roof or even in the floor. A roof over our heads. It's raining. Time to find somewhere dry. Martin suggests they go back to the tree fort. Pedro is glad they will have a roof protecting them. A roof is the top covering of a building. It shelters the building from the weather. Some roofs have grass growing on them. They are called green roofs because they help the environment. Back to the treehouse. The gang is happy to be back at the cozy treehouse. Max is still downstairs, keeping dry on the porch. Soon he will have a cozy house of his very own. It's time for us to make our mini doghouse. Here's a plan for making a mini doghouse. You'll need marshmallows, craft sticks, construction paper, scissors, glue, and tape. Step 1. Build a frame for the floor using marshmallows and wooden sticks. Step 2. Add the frame for the walls. Step 3. Add a peak for the roof. Step 4, and this is an important one, be sure to ask a parent to cut the paper to fit the roof and walls. Step 5. Glue and tape the paper to the frame. And last but not least, feel free to decorate or add your pet's name to your new doghouse. All right, gang, that wraps up this week's edition of Architects Read. Again, my name is Ian Walker, and I just wanted to say I had a blast reading this story to you, and I hope to catch you guys this time next week for our next book and activity. I look forward to learning even more with you guys. Thanks again. Take care.